Hey Wargamers, today I want to talk about the XV107 R'Varna battlesuit. It's one of the two Riptide variants that are present in Imperial Armour Index Xenos, and it's the heavy artillery version of a Riptide. So before we do that though, before we talk about the R'Varna, I want to say thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and of course, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. That way you don't miss any of my upcoming unit reviews, battle reports, or other 8th edition content. Okay, so like I said, the R'Varna is the heavy support artillery version of a Riptide. It doesn't have as much of an offensive capability as a Y'Vara, and it doesn't have as much flexibility as a standard Riptide, but it does go all in on being a artillery unit, on being a heavy support unit that stays in your deployment zone more or less. So it has movement of 8 inches, it has a weapon skill of 5 up, it has a 4-up ballistic skill that scales, of course. Strength 6, toughness 8. That 8 toughness is actually really important. There's a huge difference between being toughness 7 and toughness 8, and this guy ends up on the better side of that distinction. And the reason for that is because melta weapons, fusion blasters, they're going to be wounding him on 4s instead of on 3s. And that's really important because a lot of these high damage, multi-damage weapons that would normally, just take wounds off this guy like crazy are going to be a lot less effective against toughness 8 compared to toughness 7. So that's important. He also has 15 wounds, which makes him even more durable than a standard Riptide. He has 4 attacks, not that it matters, a leadership, and a 2-up save. He also has a built-in shield generator that's standard 5-up invulnerable save, just like a normal Riptide. And he comes equipped with 2 pulse submunition cannons, and these guys are pretty good. So they have range 60, so they're going to hit pretty much anything on the board. Again, kind of emphasizing the fact that he doesn't need to move around a whole lot, so that's fine. Those cannons are heavy 3d3 with strength 6 minus 2 AP, dealing 3 damage each. And on average, that means he's going to get about 12 shots out per round of shooting. 12 shots, that means like 6 wounds, and you can do the math based on whatever you're shooting at to kind of figure out what the efficacy of that is going to be. But that gives you a ballpark of how much firepower you can actually expect from this guy. It's a lot, but it's not an overwhelming amount, depending on the target. He also has a Nova Reactor, just like all other Riptide variants. His abilities are different than a Riptide, are different than a Y'Vara's, and they basically kind of reinforce the role that it has as this backline artillery unit. So the first is Nova Shield. It makes his 5-up invul save become a 3-up invul save, which is nice. That's a carryover from the standard Riptide ability. But here it's actually going to be pretty useful, right? Because this guy's going to be a target for a lot of firepower, and having that 3-up invul save is really important, especially in 8th edition. The second one is Electromagnetic Shockwave, and I really like this one. I think it works out really nicely, especially for how easy it is to get massive units across the board for a lot of assault armies. Think this ability is really nice. Basically what it does is, you do the Nova Charge, you take your mortal wound as normal, and then you roll a d6 for each enemy unit within 6 inches of the R'Varna. And on a 4-up, they take d3 mortal wounds. So, if you're going against a unit of 20 Khorne Berserkers, does that 1 or 2 or 3 guys that you take out really make a difference? No. But if you're going against, Terminators or Primaris Marines or Dreadnoughts or, I don't know, like a Hive Tyrant or something, those mortal wounds can actually be really important. So I really like the ability. I think it gives it some nice defensive capabilities. And then the third one is Overcharged Munitions. Basically, when you're rolling your 3d3 to determine the number of shots that you get to re-roll those if you'd like. So if you roll a bunch of 1s, re-roll those, which is good. It makes it even more effective. It gives you a better chance to get more output, which I think is important in this guy. So that's the basic loadout for the R'Varna. He also has a special ability called Multi-Tracker, which runs into some of the same issues that we had with the target lock on the Remora before it was FAQ'd. It doesn't say that the R'Varna has to take a multi-tracker or that it has one in its war gear automatically. So it's ambiguous as to what this is, if it's just supposed to be a ability that happens naturally without having to actually pay for a multi-tracker, as was the case for the target lock on the Remora, which was renamed Remora Targeters. But this wasn't FAQ'd, so it's kind of ambiguous whether or not you have to pay for a multi-tracker or if it just has this ability without having to pay for it. But either way, it has that. That's good because you're pretty much going to be firing both your weapons at the same target anyway, giving you a little bit more marker light independence, which is great. Cool. So that's the R'Varna basic loadout. You have options to take drones. Don't do it. Again, the drones that you take here are just a liability. If you want to support a R'Varna with drones, just take a unit of shield drones as a fast attack option and have them hang around. Way better. More guys in that drone unit plus more drones for you. It just works out a whole lot better. So just do that. Support systems, it can only take advanced targeting systems and stimula injectors. I would say take both of those. They're a good investment. It makes this guy even more effective and can keep him on the board a little bit longer. So that's nice. I would do both. Yeah, so really the comparison then is the R'Varna better or worse or about the same as a Y'Vara? You know, I've talked about that the R'Varna can actually put out a fair amount of damage, but is that worth taking this over a Y'Vara? Well, it kind of depends. So the pulse submunition cannons are basically long-range flamers, but they still have to roll to hit. So on average, the Y'Vara flamer is going to do twice as many hits or twice as many wounds as the R'Varna's pulse submunition cannons. So that's a big check in the Y'Vara box. It means the Y'Vara is going to be twice as effective at killing things than an R'Varna. Plus, the Y'Vara has greater mobility, and it has a whole nother gun, the discharge cannon. So it really does have a lot more offensive ability than the R'Varna. However, the R'Varna is much more durable. It's easier to use in some ways. It's not as susceptible to being out of position or anything like that. And so there are definite reasons to take an R'Varna or just take both. But yeah, so I think the Y'Varna works better in armies that don't have the support for Y'Varas. They don't have something that's really going to move up with the Y'Varas to keep them moving forward. And an R'Varna is going to be a better anchor unit. Really, the way to use the R'Varna, I think, is to deploy it around a bunch of infantry or a bunch of objectives, something that is going to be the subject of a charge, something that the opponent is going to be moving towards you at, not off to the side where he's never going to get bothered. Keep him in the heat of the action and use that electromagnetic shockwave ability to help clear off those objectives and defend them. He's going to do a fairly good job at that. So, yeah. One important note on that, though, is don't actually let him get into combat because he doesn't have the fly keyword. So if he gets into combat, that's going to be really bad. So keep him out of combat, but close enough that he can, use his shockwave ability if he needs to. So that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're using an R'Varna and it's working out great or working out poorly, love to hear about it. Other than that, thanks for watching and happy wargaming.